Alright, so, yesterday, Tom, I misspoke, Perez, was voted in as our DNC chairman. Not a huge surprise. It's one of those things, how they used to say, I'm not surprised, I'm just disappointed. Right here. All right, that's the definition. This is what that saying was developed or put together for. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed because Tom Perez has, in everything I have found, for one thing, he's basically the establishment candidate, and has come out as such over the past month or so since this whole thing started. Because he was in the Obama administration as Secretary of Labor. I think he did some in the Department of Justice before that. He's been endorsed by Obama. He's been endorsed by Biden, by a lot of the establishment characters. And that is the problem. I mean, that's what we need to face, and we need to break away from that way of doing things. And this guy is basically, he's not going to do any of that. And like I said, the reason I said I'm not really surprised is because, look at who votes for DNC chair. It is made up of party officials who are, pretty much by definition, they are the establishment of the party. And establishment's going to vote for the establishment. So, again, it's unfortunate. It would have been nice because, I feel if Keith Ellison had been voted in, it would at least been sort of a sign that the party as a whole understands that the party as a whole has a fucking problem and might be considering addressing it. But, it is... it is what it is. It's not really the end of anything by any means. But, oh well. I have to move on. So, by moving on from me, I am going to begin with my thoughts on Tom Perez, just as a political figure in general. I think he's practically worthless. Let me explain. One, there's a course, and I'll link to the video in the description of the video I did before, where he actually did accidentally admit the truth. As I've heard said in Washington, it's referred to as a gaffe when a politician accidentally tells the truth. And admitted that, and said that he, or admitted that the primary was rigged. The DNC had their thumb on the scale against Bernie Sanders in the primary, and that's something that they needed to face and to deal with. And then later that night, some donor, some bigwig somewhere friggin' cracked that whip and got his bitch ass back in line quick, fast, and in a hurry. Which is, for me at least, earned him the nickname of Tom I Misspoke Perez. Secondly, additionally, he's just freaking weak. Just absolute weak. Absolutely weak. You look at, and kind of basically it goes along with the way the rest of the Democratic Party has been. The Democratic Party that's been losing elections, that kind of weakness he embodies. For instance, he was, if you look back, at least with the background I've seen, his time is, he's talked about a lot since, announcing that he was going up for DNC chair. It's his time as Secretary of Labor. And yeah, they did push a couple of things on while he was there. Kind of pushed through one or two little reforms, little thing here or there. But nothing that much, nothing that big, nothing that actually affected workers in general as a whole. Like, say, minimum wage. Since through Obama's 2 terms, they pushed for an increase in the minimum wage one time. Now, of course, he's come out and supported the fight for 15. Well, I'll say it's a bit confusing because he says that he supports the movement, but he supports a $12 minimum wage as far as actual policy. So it's like, oh, I support your movement, but I don't actually support the policy. I'm supporting less. Because that's the maximum amount that my donors will allow me to say publicly. But again, as far as action, during his time as Secretary of Labor, the issue an actual bill or legislation to actually raise the minimum wage has come up once that I know of. And that was to raise it to about $10 an hour. And of course it was friggin' filibustered by the Republicans and just died. And to my knowledge, they never tried again. No one really ever heard of it again. And it was just like, okay, yes sir, no, we won't ask again. We're sorry to bother you, Republicans. And that's the thing that pisses me off too. That what pisses me off about the situation, I know some people will say like, oh well, the Republicans were in charge of the House and the Senate and they couldn't really. No, all right, that's bullshit. Yeah, they might not have gotten it passed, but they could have tried a lot more times than once. I mean, hell, we're talking about like during the same period of time, the fucking Republicans tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act over 50 times. They knew full well that Obama was going to veto it, but they voted to repeal it over 50 fucking times. Why could they not do, why did the Democrats, why did Tom Perez and Obama and Democrats in general, the establishment Democrats, why did they not do the same thing for minimum wage? Oh, well, it's not going to get passed. Well, fuck it. Who cares if it doesn't get passed? Cram it through every damn chance you have. And every time they vote it down, make sure the American people and the voters know that the reason they're not taking home more money in their check this week is because of those Republicans in the office. They could have done that, but they didn't. They tried it once, and when it was smacked down, they just went about their business and didn't try it again. And hell, half the weak sauce, freaking like improvements that affect like a little piece of the workforce that he did put through have been repealed already, or were blocked. And again, there was no outrage. There was no going on TV and talking about it. You could have gone many outlets that would have had them on. And they did nothing. And then it's not just a problem. He was Secretary of Labor. It wasn't his role to push through that. But he could have fought for it a lot more. And so could all of these people. The people who voted him in as DNC chair. The establishment of the party, the core, in my belief, the core of like what is wrong with the party. They could have friggin' dropped a set and done something. And they didn't. And they're doing the same thing now. They had the opportunity to drop a set and fucking do something positive and move the party in a progressive direction. And start actually pushing policies that the majority of the country wants. But no, they chose to stick with the same old. Gee, maybe next time it'll work. I mean, no, it's not, okay? You're done. If they keep on this path, they're going to lose in 2018. and they're going to lose in 2020. Simple as that. Oh, also, too, as a little bit of an extra, kick in the nuts to anyone who's not a corrupt piece of shit, the same day they did this, they also voted down a motion to re-implement, or no, they struck down a motion to keep a ban on corporate lobbyist contributions to the party. So, yeah, that's all I can say is that this has the potential to really not end well for the Democratic Party in general, or the country for that matter. All right, moving on.